Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyday Journey. Today we're going to repair the Yard Machine tiller. You've seen it in one of my other videos. What this thing's got going on with it is the carburetor has been doing it for several years now. It actually leaks prior to it running, kind of leaks a little bit while it's running, and then whenever you turn it off, it'll leak some more. So I actually got contacted by a company called HiPA. That's HiPA, and I believe their website is HiPA360.com, and they have tons of different carburetors and chainsaw parts and just about anything you'd need for all the maintenance on your yard equipment, lawnmowers, weed eaters, things like that. And they actually contacted me and asked me to do a review of their product. I actually have the product. I went online, looked to see what all they had. They had a huge selection. I found what I thought was going to work for this, and then with a separate email address, I actually went ahead and contacted them and then verified. Said, "Hey, look, I've got this motor. I think I need this carburetor. Is this what I need?" And sure enough, within I think the same day, they actually responded back and said, "Yeah, this is exactly what you need. Go ahead and purchase it." So I contacted them, said, "Yes, this is what I need." They went ahead and sent it to me, and so I'm going to do a review on it. So far, everything about it has been a great transaction. They had a great response time for my questions. The shipping on it was really quick. I believe their website even says that it was free, although, like I said, they provided me this part. So we're going to go ahead and replace this. I'm sure I could probably rebuild it, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it because it's much easier, and we'll see how quickly we can do that. All right, so what comes in the box? I kind of unpacked this before, but it should be everything I need to actually complete this. We got our carburetor pretty much fully assembled here, and it does have the gaskets and does have the the throttle or the choke. So these things I do have to put on. The first thing we need to do is get this one off. Go ahead and take the screwdriver, undo the cover here, and this inside this cover is our filter. And I just replaced this filter not too long ago, so that one's still good. So now we take our 5/16 and go ahead and undo the carburetor. And this was my fix before, putting a piece of rubber on there for a gasket. It worked. Not ideal, but it worked. All right, now whenever I store this, I always store it without any gas in it. So I empty out the fuel, and then I run the carburetor, run the engine to get the rest of the fuel burned out of the carburetor. So we got to disconnect the fuel from it, and the fuel is going to come pouring out. And you could turn it off right here, but you're still going to have a little bit of fuel left in the line. All right, with that disconnected, we can go ahead and disconnect the linkage here for the throttle. Now everything's disconnected. So we take a 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 socket, and go ahead and undo the carburetor from the motor. When you take this off, make sure that you got the gasket still attached here. If not, you need to take it loose from the motor side of it. But now we need to make sure that the other one is the same. Everything looks similar. Only difference is that I need to actually add the choke onto it. So let's go ahead and do that. One of these actually has smaller holes in it. I'm going to put the one with the larger holes on it because that's what mine has. And one of the things we can do, it does come with these little, this little foam. It's kind of like a foam gasket, foam washer. This will just act as a dust protector, keep the grime from going in through the top of this. So to make these match, I need to install this. I'm actually going to turn it a little more this way. That way we can let it engage back here. And then we'll go ahead and put the choke in. Once it's in there, make sure everything closes properly. Make sure it opens up properly. So we're good to go on that. All right, so now that we got the carburetor together the way we need it, we need to bolt it up to the motor. So go ahead and get the one gasket that goes against the manifold, the intake manifold, and go ahead and get it ready, set in place. And while we're doing that though, this makes it a lot easier. We'll go ahead and rehook the linkage. There is a little spring. You can see a little hole right here, a small one. That's where the spring actually clips into. If you need to, get you a pair of needle nose pliers, make it a little bit easier. And then we'll go ahead and hook up the linkage. Again, use the needle nose, make it a little bit easier. So the next thing we got to do now is hook our fuel line right back up. And I didn't show this, but the clip to hold it in place, I had it loose because that's how I drained it last time. Go ahead and put the clip in place, make sure it stays on. Okay. And now we can put our breather cover back on. So we got our other gasket that came with it. We just line it up to where it fits on the carburetor like it should. And then go ahead and put our bolts through. Now before we do that though, we want to make sure we hook this hose back up to the inlet there. So this is a little difficult, but it helps if you kind of hold it in place and then start the one bolt. Once that's started, we'll get our other bolt, and from behind we'll go ahead and flip this gasket up until we see the holes line up. Now we're just going to put our cover back on, make sure the filter's inside, and go ahead and tighten that down. All right, everything should be good to go. We just need to put some fuel in it and start this thing up. You always want to check for leaks. Anytime you're messing with the fuel like that, check for leaks, make sure it's not actually leaking out, and if so, catch it before it gets too bad. Clean up the spill. We've already checked the oil. We make sure our fuel line is on, and we got the choke set. Now this thing hasn't run in 2 years, or it hasn't been running in 2 years, and it's about 20 years old. So let's see what happens. That's a good sign. There you go, fired right up, didn't need any adjustment. It's not leaking fuel anywhere. That's pretty good given this thing is as old as it is. Really do appreciate you guys at HiPA for sending me this. Gets this thing back in action without making a big mess of leaking fuel everywhere. This thing's actually got some sentimental value to me. This was my mother's, and I got it for her a long time ago, and it's been used several times since then to get my garden, make sure my garden's is good, to be able to feed my family and everything. She's no longer with us anymore, but this is, and every time I use it, it makes me think of her. So if you want to check out HiPA, that's HiPA, like I said, their website, HiPA360.com. They're not giving me anything except for this carburetor, and I decided to do an honest review on it. As you can see, it was easy to install, went on really well. Their customer service really helped me out, and they didn't even know for sure they were talking to me. They were just helping me out like they would any other customers. You should definitely go check them out. If you want to see that, the links are in the description below. I'm not getting any money whatsoever from that, so feel free to order what you want, and maybe you can get a deal from them. Just check it out and see what you get. Again, appreciate you guys watching. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.